All I am trying to say is that there is a lot involved and a lot of research is required. I believe we will all have a clearer picture about all this once we conclude this series or once all the verses from the New Testament, relating to the Sabbath, are discussed.
Right. I agree, Professor.
Ultimately, the Lord looks at the heart. We should not become religious people, like the Pharisees and Sadducees, that is, showing an outwardly love for God and yet inwardly, we are ravening wolves. True Christianity comes from the heart. A person may never step foot in a church but be one of the greatest Christians in the world because he or she would have opened their heart to God.
Right.
Remember that verse, John 4:24.
Yes. John 4:24 says, and I quote, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
That is right, Ms. Ida. Worshipping the Lord is not about attending a church service and being in some building. We are called to worship and pray at all times. Don't be one of those people who only worship the Lord once a week or in front of others but are worldly throughout the rest of the week.
Sunday only Christians.
Is that what you call them? Very interesting. Yes, don't be one of those. I'm sure the producers will consider bringing a panel that will help viewers differentiate between real and fake Christians.
That's right. In fact, we have a video that shares verses that help Christians to see whether they are amongst those who will make it to heaven or not. Christians can then use the biblically based information we provide them with to improve their Christian walk.
Very interesting.
We will add a link to that video below. Do you still have more verses for us, Professor?
Our next verse comes from the book of Leviticus, Leviticus 25:4 says, But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. This verse says that the land should not be tilled or planted on every 7th year. This means, people have 6 years to plant crops and store food for the 7th year. On the 7th year, the land should be left to recover. In agriculture, we speak of crop rotation because each crop depletes specific minerals from the soil. Therefore, if crops are rotated on the same piece of land, then the other crops will help replenish minerals.
Not planting crops on every 7th year. Professor, this is too much for me to comprehend all at once. How feasible would that be today?
You know what, Ms. Ida? Whether something is feasible or not is besides the point. Obedience is the key. From a scientific point of view, I think this would do the land a lot of good by giving it time to heal. Also, a good farmer will most likely own several pieces of land. He can divide his field, say, into 2 halves. In year 1, he starts growing crops in field 1 whilst fields 2 rests. In year 2, he'll plant crops in both fields 1 and 2. After 6 years, field 1 would be on its 6th year of use while field 2 would be on its 5th year of use.
Yes, then in year 7 while field 1 rests, field 2 would still be used to grow crops. Aha. This way, the farmer continues to grow crops without disobeying the Lord. When field 2 rests, the farmer will be able to use field 1 again. Excellent. Brilliant.
To God be the glory. True wisdom comes from God and it is available to all who ask for it from Him. I think we need to combine as many of the remaining scriptures as possible, otherwise, we may need to split this session as well.
Yes, sir.
The next 3 verses come from the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 17:21 says, Thus saith the Lord, Take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Jeremiah 17:22 says, Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. And Jeremiah 17:27 says, But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
Does this mean people are not allowed to carry heavy loads or travel on the Sabbath day?
Note that there is also a curse attached to the last verse. Let me repeat that verse 27. Jeremiah 17:27 KJV says, But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. When you really think about it, you will notice that ultimately, all of God's laws, all of them, are for our good. Think about that for a minute.
Yes, I agree. I know how I felt when I had to work long hours 7 days a week for 3 months. I had to board 2 trains one way daily to London and then board a bus. The pay was good, but the whole experience was draining. I felt like I was losing my mind, so I quit.
I am sorry about that. Sometimes our well-being is much more important than the money. Did you ever consider moving to London?
I did, but I couldn't afford the rent there, especially since I was taking care of my sick mother. Also, there wasn't anyone to take care of the farm, so I had to handle things at home as well.
I see. I think I have 2 more scriptures before we call it a day.
Great. It's been a long but great day. This discussion has really uplifted my spirits, and I am keen to learn from you, Professor.
It's interesting how the producers encourage unscripted interviews. There are no rehearsals whatsoever.
Yes, you just go with the flow. They just brief us on what they'd like us to discuss, share the roadmap or guidelines, and let interviewers speak from the heart. We are encouraged to relax and to be ourselves. Of course, within Christian guidelines.
Interesting. I think I'd like to research on something similar in future to whether unscripted interviews are more successful and are of more interest to viewers than scripted ones.
I think they are, Professor. Have you seen how much people love reality shows? This is similar to a reality or live show.
All right, madam. Our second last scripture comes from the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel 20:16 says, "Because they despised my judgments, and walked not in my statutes, but polluted my Sabbaths, for their heart went after their idols." Polluting the Sabbath refers to not keeping the Sabbath holy. At its core, this points to disobedience to God and disrespect of His laws. The last verse comes from the book of Amos. Amos 8:4-5 says, "Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? And the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small, and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit." This verse is self-explanatory, however, it also speaks of those people who keep the Sabbath yet they are crooks or devious people. On one hand, they keep the Sabbath and act all holy, and on the other hand, they falsify balances and partake in evil acts.
This has been a very informative session indeed. I hope the viewers enjoyed the interview as much as I did. Most importantly, I hope you all understood what the Old Testament says about the Sabbath. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you haven't already, please like, comment on, or share this video. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. The next video, that is part 3 of this series, will be uploaded soon. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get a notification each time we post a video. Thank you, Professor Peter, for taking the time to join us today. It is a privilege and honor to interview a person of your caliber.
Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to joining the Christian Grace Network on future videos.
Cheers, everyone, and remember to join the discussion here, at home, in your communities, and at school. Keep well and stay blessed.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. God bless. Cheers for now. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye for now. Thank you for watching. God bless.